What's up, gamers? This is NGG.
Oh, and Minako or Devine Cummings nowadays.
With another review video, and this time it is One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. So we played this game online co-op story mode. Thank goodness none of us had to be ahead in the storyline like some other Koei Tecmo games, but we definitely played this online co-op, and we are going to tell you what we thought about it. Let's start off with the story.
Oh, is it story mode?
Yeah, let's start off with the story.
Alright, so the story mode actually takes place of the recruitment of Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji, and it takes place during the Alabasta arc, where we get introduced to Vivi and Miss Sunday, who's later known as Nico Robin, and our main antagonist, our villain Crocodile. So this game cuts like a lot of arcs, so I'll pretty much go over the arcs that you play and the arcs that were cut from the show. So Alabasta is the first arc you can do completely online, and after Alabasta you go to CP9. But in between that gap, there is this arc called Skypiea that's not included in this game. So you go to Alabasta. I'm sorry, you go to Skypiea, or CP9, whatever you call it. And then after that, you go to the separation of the Straw Hat arc. I'm not sure what that island is called. But then after the separation, you go to Enies Lobby. You try to rescue Ace, which is Luffy's brother, and then you team up with Whitebeard. Then after Enies Lobby, you go to the time skip, which even the time, you go back to the previous island before Enies Lobby. They skip Water 7. They skip Fishman Island. I don't know why, but Fishman Island is not included in this. So then after the after the regrouping of the 2-year time skip, we then go to Dressrosa, which is the Doflamingo arc, where you get introduced to Sabo and the Flare fruit. And then after Dressrosa, you get introduced to the Wano. No, I'm sorry. It's Whole Cake Island with Big Mom. And then after Whole Cake, you go to Wano with Kaido, and that's an original.
Wano's the last one.
Yeah, Wano's the last one, which is an original game story, because when this game came out, we like us as viewers, we're still getting introduced to Wano, so they have like a third DLC that like adds characters afterwards that should have been in the game, but because it was so new for like manga and anime readers, they were like, okay, we're just gonna make up an original story, and then that's it, and we got ahead of the game, so it kind of became like obsolete, or like not as fulfilling for like manga and like anime watchers. So yeah, there's a lot of arcs that get cut in this, like Fishman Island, Skypiea, Chopper's arc isn't included, Brooks Thriller Bark isn't in here, which is the Skeleton Man Brook, and there's like a lot of like in between arcs that like have characters or introductions or fills up the worlds that you do not get in here. You can play One Piece Pirate Warriors 3, but for someone that's played that game all the way through, I would recommend the fourth one, just because that's a lot of story to fill in between the gaps.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to play Pirate Warriors 3 and then play Pirate Warrior 4, but we did this hella backwards. Yeah. I will say though, while you are in the arcs, there are several chapters in each arc that you are playing. So like every arc island has like maybe 4 chapters.
Yeah, like
so 4 big battle arenas before you go, and there's at least 5 or 10 of those big islands, so you are playing a lot of chapters in the story, so I just don't want you to think that it's just one battle every arc. It's several battles every arc. For me, story mode was a little hard to keep up, so I'm going to preference this, that I've never watched a One Piece, right? I use this like I did with Attack on Titan, where I didn't want to watch the anime, and I was like, alright, I don't want to watch the anime, so I'll play the game, and most of the time I can catch on to the story with just playing the game. This game was a little bit more difficult because it has the cutscenes, which are great, but it also is talking, like the story is being told to you while you're fighting. So I'm trying to pay attention to the next objective, to who's gonna go, while they're putting story content, dialogue in the fighting. Like while you're mutilating everybody, they're talking literally to each other, and these are the what would be in the stories. And I'm not getting it 100%. It was to the point where he had to read it to me because for you, this is your second time playing this game, right?
Second time, yeah.
Second time playing the game, so he kind of knew what was going on, and you've watched the One Piece series, right?
Yes, I've watched both the 4Kids dub when it aired in America back in like 2005, 2008, and then, Funimation. So I pretty much grew up watching the series, so like playing this and like reading the dialogue text as you're playing through was, not a problem for me, but for someone new, I can understand how getting the plot in gameplay would be as hard as not having it in the cutscenes or in the like going through the campaign itself. It's like you play as you go, but as you're playing, it's also trying to fill in those gaps in between like the Muso sections, which I can understand how that can get confusing and very annoying.
And then there was this part of the story where a character was added without a cutscene, without gameplay of that character, the skeleton one.
Oh, Brooke, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know where this character came from. He just came out of the blue. He wasn't in the last arc, and in the next arc, he's there. Like, I know they're trying to fill in as much as they can into the story, but there were some characters are like, where did you come from, and how did you get here, and why do we know you? So essential parts of the story might be missing. You get the main plot, right? But you're not getting every bit and piece. Like, I feel like when I played Attack on Titan 2, I knew the story, and I felt like it was well done where I wasn't missing anything. I feel like, how many seasons is this going through? I feel like that's what it is. It's going through so many different seasons and episodes. How many episodes do you think? Like, kind of 15, 20 episodes?
It only covers like 70, 60. It's like a very I was like 70 or 60 episodes.
Yep, so that's a lot to cover, so I get it. But there were parts where I didn't get this character and why he was coming in, or why these characters really cared about this other character. I mean, it kind of like a Cliff Notes version of the game is what I will say.
Yeah, and the difference between 4 on the Switch and 3 on the Switch, One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 does not have online on the Switch, whereas every other system of Pirate Warriors 3 does. So that's why that's why we played 4 and not 3, because on Nintendo Switch they just never included online.
Right. Alright, so let's talk, now that we're talking about online, let's talk about how the ease of setting up a lobby, or the not ease of setting up a lobby. I'm gonna tell you what, I set up the lobby once or twice so that I can familiarize myself with how to set the lobby up, but Minako was the one who took the lead on setting up the lobbies for us.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the beginning arc, Alabasta, that's the name. So I let NGG start up the lobby to get a feel of Alabasta. So what you have to do is you have to create a room, go into the map or mission itself. You have to go through 2 loading screens. Now, this is where it gets tricky. So each map or mission has cutscenes or conversations, but the problem with that is that your friend can't join your session or the mission unless you skip or get through those cutscenes. And then, after they're in, you might have to go through another cutscene or loading screen to even start the game. So it's just like, hey, I'm trying to join. Oh, I'm still in this cutscene or loading screen, so you can't really join until I finish all this process and then you join. So,
but I feel like even though they did that, what they did was, after you had your loading screen when you set it up, then the person who's coming in gets the cutscene. So now you have to wait as the person hosting it for that. They should have figured out a way where both people just see the cutscenes together, whereas he can't start a lobby without seeing the cutscene, and then the person, he has to wait for the person to finish. Like, I know you were waiting for me a lot because I like to watch the cutscenes, so you were waiting for me to finish the cutscenes so I could watch the story. And that was a little, tricky for us to navigate, like waiting patiently for the other person to finish.
And I couldn't even watch the cutscenes because I had to skip them for you to even join me anyway. So I had to skip it for you to even watch it. So.
Thanks for this is your second playthrough, huh?
Yeah. Good thing I played through it the first time, or else I've been lost completely. But speaking of the online play, in the Switch version, it's like 10 times longer than like the PS4 version. It takes it may not seem like it, but when you're doing the join session and skipping the cutscene for your friend to join the session, the loading screens take like forever, and sometimes it like takes away from the immersion from like gameplay, or like if you're playing this through your first time with friends. And it's only like this game I've experienced it with. Like games like Attack on Titan 2 or like Samurai Warriors 5 or like Hyrule Warriors, they don't really have that issue, but for some reason the loading times it takes away the immersion, and it kind of like takes you out of the game before you even get back into it, pretty much.
Yeah. But it was still okay. I mean, for me, I'm used to long loading screens. The gameplay butter smooth though once you were in it.
Yeah, the gameplay is fine. It's just getting to, it's just those loading screens are just, they're like they're like not even a thing in like the PS4 version or like any other versions.
Yeah, there are some sacrifices, I guess, from the Switch version. So, if you have both systems, then get it for the PlayStation. But I'm a Switch owner, so definitely, I know that there's going to be a loading time screen. But, once we were there, I didn't feel like it was jaggedy.
Yeah, there was no
frame drops. And there would be a lot of people and a lot of big explosions happening. And I never had a frame drop, a dip, a crash. Nothing like that. We never had a disconnect either.
No disconnect.
So I think if you're gonna muscle through the load screens, just be wary that they're there, and power through them, because once you get to them, I enjoy playing on the Switch, obviously. So so I'm not gonna have a problem with the load screens. But that was that. Now let's talk about the actual gameplay.
The gameplay, okay.
Let's talk about the gameplay. So it is definitely a Musou game. Anybody who's played a Musou game before knows that tons of enemies on the screen. And I feel like the recent Musou games, you don't ever have to fight the tons of enemies. You just have to fight the general of the tons of enemies. Or fighting up with them to open the general and then close it out. They made Musou games a lot easier than they used to be. I think with the Dynasty Warrior series, you had to kill the people else they would attack you. These people don't really attack you. I think I was standing there because I had a phone call, and you didn't even know I had a phone call. They weren't even attacking. I was still alive when I came back. Yeah. I was like, oh, did you protect me? You're like, nah, nobody attacked you. I was like, oh. Okay. That's a thing. And so I think with that, I feel like they need to make that a little better, in my opinion, where even the little regular characters are attacking you, because I don't feel like it's a Musou game if you're not, you can kill them, but they're not attacking you, so you could just go to the general unless you killed enough of them to open the leader of the board, the area, to take over the area, but that's it. What do you think about gameplay?
Gameplay's pretty okay. This one does it differently. So each character has an attack type. So Luffy's attack, Zoro is speed, Sanji's stamina, the green bar. So each character above them will have a different icon. So one character might be good at physical attacks, the other character might be good at speed or stamina or defense. So they have different attack types in this. The only time really this game gets difficult is when you go to Marineford, rescuing Ace and teaming up with Whitebeard and everything. Because in Marineford, that's when the generals, admirals, and captains really come after you. And luckily enough, doing this game co-op for the first time, if you die in a co-op mission or session rather, your party can actually revive you and give you maybe 30 or 40% health. So that's the only time where the game gets difficult is in Marineford. But other than that, it's your standard Musou game. Did one of us die? I died when we got to Blackbeard.
Oh, that revived you?
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to talk about is controls. I didn't have a problem with the controls. Every character controls slightly different. Everybody has their own attack types. So I prefer playing with the female characters, obviously. But when I play with the male characters, and you play with the giant characters too, and they control a little different too. So they the movements are the same, but they control different. You can feel the bulkiness of the big characters, and I really, really like that. You could feel the bulky characters can kill the bulky characters fast, but they can't kill the little characters fast. And the little characters can kill the little characters fast, but they can't kill the bulky. So it was always it was never oh, if I take the big guy, I'm just gonna wipe away the floor with these little guys. No. You can wipe the floor with the big guys, but not the little guys. So what did you think about controls?
I thought the controls were pretty cool. Like Gamer said, you'll have the big characters like Kaido and Big Mom, where they'll have bigger advantages for regular characters, but maybe smaller advantages for like captains or like Marines or something like that. So everyone has like their strengths and weaknesses, and everybody in this game has like a skill tree where you have statuses and upgrades. So like you'll have 3 skill trees. The first skill tree is for every character, so that's attack, defense, stamina, etc. The second and third skill tree are for individual characters. So like Luffy will like have his gear 3rd or gear 4th in the second skill tree, and like the pink germ, I say pink Power Rangers because that's what they are, or like the pink germ will have her own unique set of skills, and like the second and third skill tree, same thing with like Hancock or Nami or any character you go through, they'll all have their own skill trees, and each like battle or like coins or berries you'll pick up, you'll each have like new abilities, and you can all transform and do supers and ultimates depending on how far you get to it and when you unlock it and stuff like that. So it's pretty unique when it comes to gameplay mechanics. Control wise, it's pretty much the same as the PS4 version, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Let's get into the rating of One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. Alright, so let's go with what you would rate One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 for the Nintendo Switch.
I would give it a 3 out of 5. Even though, you know, it's a game I enjoy and a series I like, I would still rate it just like any other game, rather if it would be my favorite or not. So I would give it a 3 out of 5 just because of the load times and the not including of certain arcs, and have it, you know, cliff notes certain, you know, arcs and characters. And with all that together, I would say it's not the worst game, but it can definitely improve in a lot of areas. So I would treat it as any other game and give it a 3 out of 5 for the Nintendo Switch.
And I'm gonna give this game a 3.5 out of 5 for the Nintendo Switch. And the reason I'm giving it a low grade but still a higher grade than you is because I definitely did like that this game included co-op cross progression story mode, where some of the Warrior games we played that haven't. It also included like right away that we could be in the story mode together. We didn't have to be one ahead of the other like in some of the Warrior games that we've played before, or the Warrior type games we've played before. So I like that aspect of the game. What I didn't like were, I don't mind the load screens like you do, but I did mind the fact that there were characters that were introduced into the storyline that were not anywhere there, like they were just there. They weren't anywhere and then they were. And so I don't like that. I didn't know who these characters are. I haven't watched the show, so I have no way of knowing who these characters are. And I also didn't like the fact when things happen to certain characters, I don't feel for them because I don't know who the characters are. So I feel like they didn't engross me in the story in that aspect. And I guess this is because it's a Cliff Notes version of the One Piece series, which I don't have any attachment to. So yeah, so I would give it a 3.5. It's not a bad game. I definitely won't play it again. It's not one of those Muso games that I would come back and play. You played it already twice, so I guess this is one of those Muso games you'd come back and play.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the third one, because at least this one has online on the Switch, and the third one on the Switch doesn't for some reason.
Yeah, because we wanted to play number 3 before playing 4. And
yeah, and all other consoles it has online, and then the Switch for number 3 just doesn't, so that was weird.
Alright. Well, that was our review of One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. We're gonna let you give your exit ticket and how to find you and your channel.
Oh, okay. Well, most people on here know me as Minako, but I have my channel switched. So my name is Devine Cummings voiceover on YouTube, and it's Devine. I believe it's Devine Cummings voiceover on Twitter too. So same as my YouTube and everything. And yeah.
And what is it you do on your channel?
I do voiceovers of anime and video games on my YouTube channel, which I'm sure will be in the description of this. So yeah,
those links will be right below. So he definitely covers a lot of different genres and voiceovers. But thank you guys for watching. Happy gaming. Bye.